On to adoption of the minutes. There's two sets of minutes here from previous community center select steering meetings. And does anybody have anything, omissions or anything they'd like to add on that? I don't see any hands up, so I will adopt those minutes by consensus. Thank you. We're going to move on to public comments. I don't think there's anybody out there, Steph. Good, thank you. And new business, 4.1, fundraising update and donor recognition policy, proposed updates. Jacqueline Massey, fundraising coordinator, and Gillian, manager of rec and community services. Welcome, and away you go.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen.
All right.
Okay. So this is just a bit of a recap of a meeting that we had on October 12th, a working group, sub-working group of this committee. And I think most of the people in the committee were on that meeting.
Yep.
And the main piece to bring to the committee today from that meeting were the proposed revisions to the community center donor recognition and naming policy. We had quite a great conversation about the fundraising strategy, as well as thinking about the composition and tasks of a fundraising campaign cabinet, as well as talked about the cultural spaces grant. And we will be touching back on some of these points later on during the meeting today.
Okay.
And Jackie, do you want to take it away from here on this?
Sure. Of course, at that meeting on October the 12th, we brought forward some proposals for changes to the existing donor recognition policy. And as we indicated and is written here, there is a rationale for changing the level that is recognized on our donor recognition wall. And we propose this change again, just to be as inclusive as possible, and this is based on feedback we received from the committee as well, I understand, from council, to ensure that we are illustrating broad community support for the project. And so we are suggesting that we change the policy to read changing it from all donations of $1,000 or more to $200 or more. And just a note that this is not going to have any impact on the donor recognition signage cost. It's just a matter of the way we portray the levels, which we will do to show the different layers of donor support. So that's the first proposed revision. And again, at that meeting on October the 12th, there was consensus on moving forward with that, as well as the second proposed change. And this is actually an addition, I shouldn't say change, because it's a change to the policy, but in addition to the policy, as this was not referenced in terms of how those who donate in terms of naming rights opportunities, how they are recognized or whether they are recognized. And we agree that they should also be recognized on the donor recognition wall. So we would like to add that clause to the policy to just add clarity around that issue. So again, we've brought forward this proposal with an additional clause. So those are the two. And as I said, at the meeting on the 12th of October, this was discussed. We also presented at that time an asset value estimation, which goes with the naming rights information as well. So again, these are the recommendations, and at that meeting, it was agreed that we should bring them forward to the committee for consideration as a recommendation.
All right, well, thank you very much. Any further discussion on this? We had quite a discussion before, and I think these are the two big issues that we wanted to resolve. And there wasn't any other changes in the policy?
Correct.
No.
All right. So I don't see any hands here, and the recommendation is that the Community Center Select Steering Committee recommend the council direct staff to make the following amendments to the Bowen Island Community Center donor recognition and naming policy number 18-003. Guideline number 2, change $1,000 to $200. Naming opportunities, add this bullet. Donors whose monetary gifts are made in agreement with naming privileges will be recognized on appropriate signage and on the donor recognition wall as per policy guidelines. I'll move that. And second, David, thank you. And all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that looks like enough hands. Thank you very much, and that'll be moved along. And thank you, Gillian and Jackie. And we will, as 4.2 is to move to a closed meeting. And the recommendation is that the Community Center Select Steering Committee move to a closed meeting pursuant to sections 90-1K of the community charter. And meetings that may or must be closed to the public. And I'll move that. In a second, please. Thank you, Allison. And all in favor? Aye. All right, lots of hands there. Thank you. So